السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. So continuing with another Hadathah series with Sheikh Salem Taweel Hafidhahullah Ta'ala. I believe like as we go through the Hadathah series, you will see more and more controversial topics coming up. But inshallah, this brother of yours will try to neutralize them as much as possible. So let's start.
معي أحدهم يقول: ألست مدعوما من الإمارات؟ في ذات يوم ذات ليلة من رمضان، ليالي رمضان، دعيت إلى ما يسمى بالغبقة، وكان حضور كبير يعني، فواحد جلس جنبي.
So basically, like one of the people or a guy called said to Sheikh Salem Taweel, "Alasta mad'uman min al-Imarat? Are you not supported basically by the United Arab Emirates?" And of course, basically this is like anyone who basically who is upon the way of the Salaf, they get accused of this, that either he's supported by XYZ government, this government, that government, this entity, that entity. So basically, Sheikh Salem Hafidhahullah was called to something called Gharqa. This is basically like to a gathering during the month of Ramadan. So there, one guy said this to Sheikh Hafidhahullah.
قال: أنا والله أحترمك وإن كنت أختلف معاك في بعض الأمور. قلت له: ماذا نختلف؟ إيش تخالفني فيه؟ نتفاهم. مع الكلام قال لي: فلان في المقاطع اللي تنتشر هذه أنشط منك بكثير بشكل واضح.
So basically, this person, right, so who basically Sheikh Salem Taweel Hafidhahullah Ta'ala was basically like whose gathering the Sheikh was invited to. Like basically, while in that gathering, a guy, the Sheikh is said to Sheikh that so and so X person is basically much more active than you online on social media. Listen. And of course, before saying that, basically he said that I basically respect you even though I disagree with you with some of what you say. So Sheikh Salman said, with what do you disagree with me? So this guy then started to mention that so X guy basically is more active than you on social media and so on and so forth. So why aren't you? Basically.
فقلت له: أنا ما عندي دعم ترى، يعني أنا نشاطنا المحدود هذا مع بعض الأخوة، كاميرتنا الخاصة. فقال لي بكل ثقة: ليش أنت مو مدعوم من الإمارات؟
So of course, basically, like the Sheikh Al-Mutawwid then basically said that, look, my activity is limited with our basically with some brothers who are with me who are my students. One of them basically, basically we have only one basically camera which we may maintain, and one device which we maintain in order to like do what we do. So there is nothing much basically, like it is just a very humble setup which we have. This is it. That's why we are less active compared to that XYZ guy. This. So then of course this person said with complete confidence, ليش أنت مو مدعوم من الإمارات? Why aren't you supported by the UAE?
قلت له: أنا كويتي. قال: يدري. قلت: ليش تدعم الإمارات؟ قال: مشهور انك انت مدعوم من الامارات. قلت: لا والله ما مدعوم لا من الامارات ولا من الكويت ولا من السعوديه، لا بالدينار ولا بالدرهم ولا بالريال. قلت: ولا بالتومان ولا باليورو. من قال لك هذا الكلام؟
So Sheikh Salem Taweel Hafidhahullah basically he said that like I'm not supported by anyone. I'm not supported by UAE, by Saudi Arabia, by Oman, by this country, by that country, by Riyadh, by Oman, by Euro, by so and so currency, by so and so monetary unit. So I'm not supported in any way, shape, or form by because I'm Kuwaiti. So basically, like first thing Sheikh said, I'm Kuwaiti. So he said, yes, I know that. But aren't you supported? So then the Sheikh said, no, I'm not supported by any entity or any government. That so so then of course this person said that like it is very famously said about you that you are supported by the UAE, like it's mashhur, like it's basically like people have mentioned that and they spread around about you that you are supported by the UAE.
قال والله هذا هو المشهور. الشاهد من هذا أن بعض الناس درسها نفسيا، يسمى علم النفس، أن نشر الخبر من عدة جهات، بنشر الخبر من عدة جهات يستطيعون إيصال معلومة للناس.
Basically, there is a psychological principle which basically has been learnt by the people out there. That spreading the news from various sources, that so like Salem Taweel is supported by UAE, Salem Taweel is supported by UAE. Basically, when it spreads from various sources, it becomes like basically you're trying to give a particular information to them. تريدون أن يعني يريدون أن يوصلوا معلومة للناس. They want to give information to the people. What's that information?
فهذا يقول لك مدعوم من الإمارات، الثاني يقول مدعوم من الإمارات. إيه نعم مدعوم من الإمارات، هذا مدعوم من الإمارات. حتى في أحدهم سجل حلقة فيما أذكر 3 ساعات و12 دقيقة، 3 ساعات 12 دقيقة يتكلم فيني ويعيد ويكرر ويهزئ ويشتم مسبات سيئة. ايش عنوان المقطع هذا 3 ساعات و12 دقيقة؟ عنوانه الصديقان الحميمان، سالم الطويل ومحمد بن زايد.
Allah Musta'an. So basically the way it goes is that like of course as I mentioned that like one source said Salim al-Tawil is Mad'u min al-Imarat, another said that he is supported by the UAE and so on and so forth, so much so that like one guy basically he uh, recorded an episode of 3 hours and 12 minutes. This is it. That's the Agida. Of like titled as Sadiqan Hamiman, two best friends. Who? The Sheikh Salam al-Tawil and Muhammad bin Zayed. Who is the president of the ruler of UAE? So, and of course, in that episode, this guy is basically repeating himself again and again, and basically, like speaking about the Sheikh Hafidahullah in a very basically like speaking about him Hafidahullah in a very like disgusting manner and like bad manners and bad words and all of that.
محمد بن زايد رئيس دولة الإمارات من خلقني الله عز ما رأيته ولا التقيت به ولا اتصلت به ولا اتصل بي ولا بأي طريقة من التواصل ولا أحد من طرفه. إيش دخلني أنا بالإمارات؟ لكن هكذا شأن هذه الأحزاب.
Basically, the thing is, of course, Sheikh Salem al-Tawil clarifies himself that Muhammad bin Zayed, Sheikh Muhammad bin Zayed, Hafidahullah, of course, is part of the Ikhwanis and the Takfiris, Hafidahullah, is basically president of UAE. May Allah preserve UAE, may Allah preserve its people, especially our honored brother Faris al-Hammadi. So, again, I know that some people will come into comments and be triggered, Rabbi Faris, Rabbi Faris. So I would say, I will give you guys, you are booted from my life. So basically, Sheikh Salem al-Tawil, he says that from the day Allah created me, till now, I haven't seen him once, I haven't messaged him, or nor he has messaged me. Neither someone came from his side, or nor I have sent somebody from my side. Basically, I haven't contacted him or he hasn't contacted me at all. Basically. So then Sheikh Salem Tawil after that says that as you can see that this is the thing that I don't have anything to do with like UAE or basically in terms of like being supported or whatnot. I don't have anything like basically I haven't met him busy at all. But still, you could see how these parties or political so-called Islamic political parties operate.
إذا أرادوا شيئا كما يقال كذبوا الكذبة وصدقوها ونشروها حتى يأخذ الناس فكرة عن فلان ممن يخالفهم أو حتى ممن يرد عليهم وعجزوا عن الرد عليه. فلذلك أنا بينت هذا الشخص أنا لست مدعوما لا من الإمارات ولا من غيرها.
That's why Sheikh Salem says that basically these so-called Islamic political parties, of course, the Ikhwani, Surus, all of them basically, Kullu Shilla, of course, all of them, is basically these guys, like anyone who basically refutes them, right, or who basically speak against their mentality, right, then they basically start doing character assassination. That's the issue. And I believe Sheikh Salem has mentioned about it in detail also in one of the upcoming episodes about character assassination. That there is the physical assassination, this is which people of course cannot be done so easily. That's why they character assassinate you, basically by kadibul kidba wa saddaquha, that they come up with a lie, then they themselves believe in it and of course spread it around. And of course as they spread it around, it becomes basically they put this into the minds of the people that look, Taweel is supported by XYZ person, XYZ regime, and so on and so forth. Then, of course, after that, basically, they character assassinate. So, in short, it's all about that anyone who goes against them or against their mentality, against their beliefs, they character assassinate the person.
لكن هؤلاء يلزمونك إما أن تشتم الإمارات وتكفرهم وتسبهم كما هو العداوة الظاهرة بين الإخوان المسلمين والإمارات، أو أنك إماراتي أو أنك مدعوم الإمارات، وهذا من الباطل الذي يسعى إليه هؤلاء.
So basically, as you can see, that these people want you to basically curse UAE and curse and say bad about the UAE and its rulership and whatnot. Why? Just because there is official enmity between the United Arab Emirates, right, and the Ikhwan Muslim Brotherhood. And of course, if you guys note carefully, of course, this is me saying, by the way, Sheikh Hafidhullah didn't say that. If you see anywhere in the world, right, whether it is a Muslim country and even a non-Muslim country, by the way, let me tell you that. And of course, I'm not saying this because basically I come from one of these non-Muslim countries. And this is like basically me, Faris Sharif, I'm Indian. I'm from India, right? So basically, you would see that the Ikhwanis and the leftists, right, have problem with India as a country, if you know, like especially the current regime who is there in India. Of course, we agree that there are things, we don't deny that there are issues, there are this, there are that. Nobody denies that. But the problem is, how are we supposed to go about it? That's it. The way which we go about it is the way Yusuf alayhi salam did. Yusuf alayhi salam was imprisoned in a non-Muslim country, right? For like a couple of years, like basically, as Allah said in the Qur'an, فَلَبِثَ فِي السِّجْنِ بِضْعَ سِنِينَ. So after that, right, when Yusuf alayhi salam was freed from prison, what happened after that? Yusuf alayhi salam basically asked the king of that time position. قال جعلني على خزائن الأرض إني حفيظ عليم. That's it. Because Yusuf alayhi salam, Allah gave him that knowledge, he would the ability of how to control finance and economy. So basically, and of course, Allah also gave him the basically the dream interpretation as well. So Yusuf alayhi salam sought permission from that same basically entity who said kafir entity, right, who imprisoned. So as you can see, that as long as you are not basically reactionary, right, you could live very easily anywhere in the world. That's it. Now this is my personal observation. Of course, you want to disagree, it's your issue. But of course, I have given a very clear-cut dalil from Surah. This is. And of course, now Sheikh Salem also basically have mentioned about that exactly. That this is it in short. That anyone who is against the Ikhwanis, right? These Ikhwanis spread the narrative against them so that basically the public opinion sways in their favor, in the favor of Ikhwanis against these regimes out there. This is, we don't say that like these regimes are malaika. Of course, I'm speaking about the Muslim countries, that right? UAE, Saudi Arabia, all of that. We don't say they are malaika, angels, whatnot. No, but we have to basically like understand that in the Quran there is a very clear cut about this. That whenever you see all of these rumors about someone, right, or some entity, some regime out there, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu in ja'akum fasiqun binaba'in fatabayyan. Oh, those who you believe, verify the information before, verify the information or investigate it before you spread it. That's very important. Allah.
فيلزمك أن تخرج عن منهجك. الإمارات فعلوا كذا، محمد بن زايد فعل كذا، يعني يريدك لو تكلمت قال ها أنت مو تقول ما تتكلم عن ولاة الأمر، ليش تكلمت؟ يعني يريد أن يلزمني أن أتكلم، فإذا تكلمت قال ها لماذا تتكلم؟ فأنا ما أتكلم لأن هذا منهجي وهذا ديني وهذا ما دلت عليه السنة. التشهير بالحكام والحكومات هذه أعمال محدثة من أفعال الأحزاب، من أفعال الإعلام السيء الهابط. إذا كان عندي نصيحة واستطعت أن أصل بها إلى ولي الأمر سواء رئيس الإمارات ولا غيرهم أنصحه، ما عندي ما أتكلم لا على رئيس الإمارات ولا على غيره.
As you can see in short, that basically Sheikh Salem mentioned that like basically these parties, of course Ikhwanis and all of them, again basically that like they want you to basically go they want you to go against your own principle, basically. Like of course now Sheikh Salem Taweel mentioned about themselves that they want me to basically curse or basically cuss UAE. Then of course when I do so, of course hypothetically speaking, that is right, then they would say, look, aren't you the one who say that don't speak about the Walatul Umur and so on and so forth? So basically these people, they want you to be hypocrites like them, basically. This is it. And of course, as I say again, hypocrisy ki bhi seema hoti. So Allah Mustahan, I don't know, like in every episode you will find me saying this, Allah Mustahan. I believe most likely, because in every episode you will find that all of these Ikhwanis and all of them, they will have at least one hypocrisy to come up with. Allah Mustahan.
ما استطعت ذلك سبيلا والحمد لله رب العالمين.
And of course Sheikh Salem Taweel concludes it with a beautiful note, Walhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, that these people cannot do anything about it. Like no matter how much they want me to change my manhaj, I won't change my manhaj, and I would be firm upon my manhaj. And of course Sheikh Salem Taweel, especially in recent times, right, he showed his firmness upon the manhaj, as you guys also might be aware about it, in various things about Hamas and all of that. So inshallah, with that being said, we'll conclude this episode here for today. Subhanakallahumma hamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.